The mother of humanism stands above you. Oppression.
Yes, we all are. Her name, body, and rule. It's not spiritual. It's constitutional.
Yes, what is it? The swallow, you mean? What about it? Ghosts? No, I don't think so. I don't believe in them either. Great. What are we talking about? Great. Thanks.
A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. You hear the tone. The machine is inoperable.
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with. You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Khan Hailostam. You must be Kim Kitsuragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building.
Nice to meet you.
No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers. Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program.
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
This man is your half-brother. Wow, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They run Vox in the...
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building. What not a lot of people know is, this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
Hold on. What's R&D?
Apologies, it's an acronym for research and development. They don't use it anymore. You're probably more familiar with RTD.
Mea culpa. You are not familiar with that one either. This man is a bookhead. It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed rooftop.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer, they started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era. Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve, or should I say they were developing an ace up their sleeve. I'm mixing my metaphors here. It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for, an elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution, revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bring them to the average consumer, which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rehm, ICN and ZAM, haven't achieved yet. Indeed. What?
The revolution!
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes. Possibly from this very building. Or one of the adjacent... All of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D. Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war.
A pleasure wheel?
Perhaps reminded of a childhood memory. It's clear he would prefer there were a big wheel.
Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation and... Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here. Now, if you were to ask about tape computers...
He means that the boys got shot by the communists. The boys were bourgeois.
Tape computers. They used them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases, the most notorious example being Le Décret de Mars. What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created Commune of Revachol on the 7th of March in the year 02.
A short-lived legislative foundation.
It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bon Baiser dans le Lind. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol stocks a copy. I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any attention.
The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover of the book, already forgetting about this part of the discussion.
Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant, exquisite.
Buckle up.
10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Womty Domty Dom Center in Vredefort, Oranje. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ockerman, who was head curator at the time. This was before the twins Keith and Guy Hughes joined the team, trying to...
He did it. He said, Womty Dumpty Dom Center, like it's the most natural thing in the world. What the hell is a Womty Dumpty Dom Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Yost?
The Womty Domty Dom Center for Contemporary Art. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ockerman, chose to... In fact, I'm not. The Womty Domty Dom Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for an exhibition space / contemporary art research center. But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even. One could write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution. The machine would then analyze...
Made of black film and folding tape structures.
Very, very cool. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionaries setting fire to this precious device. But so they did. The felt playback experiment vanished into the fires of '07. Yes, the official name of the prototype. Some sources report it as the felt playback experience, but those are incorrect. Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All 3 versions of the prototype. But of course, what else? No, I'm afraid I can't help you with this one, officer.
So you haven't seen anyone?
No, I'm sorry. As I said, this is just a day off.
There's something friendly and familiar in how he's telling the truth. He hasn't seen anyone.
No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to
Pick your brain. If anything, this was rather once. You see, a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the... A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled letters remains.
Looks like tomorrow never came.
The remaining windows rattle from a strong gust of wind. They're covered in a thick layer of grime. They must have been like this for 40 years. Dripping water falls from a high place. All you can see is there's rust and corrosion on the bars. They're foaming with it. And a small layer of white salt from the sea.
No, I won't even try. I had a partner once. They called him Eyes, because he had to show me things.
This partner of his, Eyes, things didn't end well. It saddens him to say his name. Don't even ask. He wouldn't answer. Maybe some...
Well enough, actually. It's odd how that works. I'm no sharpshooter.
Someone has left an unidentifiable article of clothing on this railing. It smells really bad. The cloth, if you can still call it that, makes a soft crunch. It's streaked with dried seagull shit and tangled with pieces of seaweed. A dangling arm suggests that there might be a It seems likely that it was left in the surf until someone laid it out on this fence to dry out.
Please tell me you're not taking that with you. I'm sure he'll be thrilled to have it returned.
The smell. It's awful and familiar. Don't you recognize it? Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency. That faintly... Something cold wakes in the pit of your stomach. It is death. It must be.
Eyes up, detective.
There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the 2 empty bottles of Tallulah vodka and a can of black pot. No, there's more in there. Livis strawberry liquor.
A tragedy.
He shakes his head with genuine sadness. Whoever tossed it here. Red Astra is the black market version of Astra cigarettes. You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato wedge. The wrapper reads, Shish Kebab. It's no older than a day or two. It's hard to concentrate in the smell. The sea air brings some... A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle. Right next to him is an empty bottle of spirits. In his crap, the smell is not as bad as a 2-week-old corpse, but it's definitely heading.
Hold on. Lividity is faintly pronounced. Whoever this is has been dead for 2 days. No longer. We need...
Another dead body. This calm now. Carefully. Just another day. Just another dead body. He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue lining. There are traces of kebab sauce on his chest. A cool leather jacket with a bolt of blue. Oh no, this sounds terribly familiar. You find some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card folded into 2. His jacket feels sodden and heavy under your hand.
Good. We should take a look at that library card after this is done.
The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. One of his... A bad fall. It might have been dark outside. This place is a minefield in the dark. His expression is dull, like the sea behind him. Drops of water shining on his moustache. His eyes, empty and wide, look frightening. Height, 170 to 175 centimeters. He was confused when he died. Confused and alone. He was just about to head home. That's what the chewing gum seems to point to as well. There's some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery wet around the hole. An empty bottle lies nearby. A chewing gum wrapper is closed. A dried chunk of blood covers the hair at the back of his head. An open. This is what killed. This is where he came out of himself, drop by drop, when he was unconscious. It took 3.
I don't see any other major wounds, do you? Seems like the head wound was fatal. It's exactly the shape of the bench.
They screech under your feet ominously. It's hard to say whether the dead man's weight was the... You see waves churning below. Something... He could have easily disappeared into the sea through that hole, and you would have never found him. A .75-liter Tallulah vodka with its cap missing.
Tear all around us. I'd prefer if you didn't collect them this time. It's not proper.
True. It feels disrespectful. Grabowski spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth is half agape from the terror of the fall. The blackness of death. Stench. Confirmed. Nearly the whole pack is there.
He ate the whole pack, right? It's to cover the smell of alcohol before going home. I've seen it before. Almost the same scenario. Even the chewing gum. It's always the same.
The entire boardwalk creaks in the wind as you take a
Looks like one of the locals. He'd have to know this spot to come here. You don't just walk over here. But that's just a lazy assumption.
A dead working-class man with a bottle in his hand? Don't deceive yourself. You know...
The woman you met at the book stand? Why do you think it's her husband? The bright blue lining? Well, he's definitely someone's husband. Death by misadventure. He slipped and fell through the boardwalk. A truly unfortunate accident. If it wouldn't have been for that bench, he'd be alive. They'll seal this place off after the news reaches the coalition officials. Not that sealing it off would keep anyone away. All it does is keep the city council's hands clean. What about it? The deceased ate some kebab. It's probably from a nearby place, maybe.
Sometimes a kebab is just a kebab.
It does seem to be a pretty straightforward misadventure, although there's still a question of identifying the body. From where I stand, I can see two options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave. A field autopsy isn't necessary if the cause of death doesn't appear to be criminal. And I'd say we should just write down head trauma and leave it at that. Let's keep this detour as short as possible. The sooner we get back to finding Ruby, the better. Maybe, but we don't really have much time or resources to spare. The guys at processing will take care of the rest. Alright, we should first examine the library card you found. Then we can call the station from my kinema. Let them know we are taking the case.
As you hold it in your hands, it makes an uncomfortable crunch. It's a sordid, filthy tale, not for the weak. Are you sure you can stomach it? It occurs to you that you're not even holding the jacket itself, but rather the thick crust of jets. It smells like a dead sea creature, tangled in grey strands of seaweed. It must have spent quite some time in the water before the tide deposited it ashore. Somehow, it was carried or dragged to the boardwalk. If not by human hands, then perhaps the faint impressions of many footprints are also present, though it's impossible to tell what kind or how many. Suffice to say, the jacket spent some time on the ground before someone draped it over the railing. The crust is hard. This jacket spent at least a day baking in the sun. Who knows what happened to it then? It's too late. You've already thought about it, and now your hands are covered in muck. What? No. Then it'll just be on your pants. This is a disaster. You'll never get the smell out. The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the touch. The front side reads, Central Jamrock Public Library Card, issued to Billy Mejean. Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased, or his family member. Whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Stand a little. Most of these titles seem to be in the sci-fi genre. If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial 005 02 55211.
Good. We should give them a call from my kinema. See if we can learn anything about Billy Mejean.
You pick up the handset. There's a tone. The machine is operable. old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune in front of it. The door hasn't been opened in a...
It's military, a service depot of some sort. The washerwoman mentioned a depot at the coast. She said it was for moving ammo and cargo across the bay. This might be it. From here to the whirling, I can't see how. The church is in the way.
The shaggy-haired girl kneels on the sea ice. She looks up.
So you talked to my associates, right? Are you going to help us? With the church, I mean. Shoot.
To the cops.
$3.6 billion, not counting those in sale.
It's obvious she's done more than. To the cops.
We're close. True, hard, full car. Hard car. Hard car to the mega. Internally coherent.
He furrows his brow as his very large head triggers.
Hard car. Ah!
The question is, what is the question? But there was a question?
Hi again. So, how are things going? Goodbye, officer. Hi again. So, how are things going?
A number of things don't add up. Let's take a look. How about gather around, kids? The young speed freak puts down a busted capacitor, and the one with the large head, their would-be leader, is less amused.
But you still are. What happened?
I've been trying to say we need the next step in dance music to happen fast!
Shut it!
What? I have! I've said that!
The young speed freak is silent. He senses something is wrong.
I have no idea how you arrived at that conclusion, but it's wrong. Look, we even have speakers.
One speaker. They have one speaker.
What do you know about spinning tape? Nothing. I'm sorry, but there is no lab equipment and no drug ingredients. What do you mean, friend? It's a one-speaker system. It's monodynamic. You wouldn't know the first thing about sound reproduction in anodic music. Others...
This may be the brain damage talking, but you've definitely never heard of monodynamic or one-speaker systems.
And of all cellular-based life, what's your point, Lawbringer?
said it was for his nose. What more?
Likely pseudoephedrine, almost exactly the shape of ephedrine. Ephedrine makes you happy, and so does pseudoephedrine.
No shit. Hey man, who knows what she's on about? I get it. She doesn't want us in the church. She's got some...
Who doesn't like to dance? She doesn't like to dance. We don't need drugs to be hard.
Shut the fuck up, Egg.
Climb down from the equestrian monument, cop man. Consciousness is new to the universe. We all have our ways to ease the shock.
What exactly is it you know? That's... Come on, that's... I meant to say, not true. What do you mean, do?
There's resignation in his voice. He's almost ready to drop the act. The optimal way to go about this would be indifference. It begins by you telling him you don't care about any of this.
Really?
Or else...
Okay, man, okay. Things are just so hard for an entrepreneur in this city right now. It's not like we lied when we said we want to turn it...
Because we do! We totally...
We just need to turn it into a speed lab before.
to get our foot in the door.
Like I told you, spooky arseholes moved in while I was getting all this stuff together. A month ago, the place was empty, and now it's all spooked up. No, man, they're spooky all right. It's just that they would also probably call the police if we started cooking speed in there.
But the sign was way off too. I couldn't...
So?
This is it. Judgment time.
Yeah!
I knew it. It's impossible now.
No, Andre, it's harder now. This hard cop has come to show us how much the fish is, and the fish is always so much more. We all know there was never going to be a club for Nordic music with the Speed Lab. Now it has a fighting chance. There needs to be a club for Nordic music in there. Needs to. Everyone hates each other. Everybody hates it here. It's all just drugs and we're slaves. We need a win, Andre. I promise this will be a win. We won't cook speed in there. We'll do it clean. We'll do it true. We'll do it sober and real and beautiful. This will be a victory for the light.
Okay, we'll try to do it without the drugs. We'll do a straight club up in there, spinning the maddest reels, and nothing but, I swear to...
From here on, it'll be straight all the way.
And? What happened? Oh man, the crab man you mean? Who is he? What did you think? Really? Huh. Interesting. What's he doing in the church?
No matter. Is he gonna...
Yeah, Noid is right. Let's get back to the point. What are we gonna do about him? dunno, man. Doesn't it feel like a major hindrance to you? A spooky guy climbing around when all the guests are trying to have nice, friendly hyper time?
I guess it's not a massive problem, now that
Everyone is welcome to dunk.
Maybe. I guess we'll figure something out. Okay, but what about the other spooker? The one in Grandma's clothes? Did you see her? A programmer? That's odd. What was she like? Did you ask her about the nightclub?
What a pity! That's my favourite thing in the world! And she doesn't like it at all!
A shame. What can we do now? Do you see a way out of this jam? And into a laser-lit future of dance and unity?
Unity! Dance!
And you can't just evict her?
Look at you, Honour Man!
No, Noid. He's right. Maybe we've approached it the wrong way after all. I'm sure there's a workaround. If that's okay with her, we only want to get in the church and spread the joy and...
The lines in the dark exist! Come.
At least Crabman seems like an advanced being. He's hard.
Yeah, he can do his climbing thing in the tower. And the programmer, does she like Nordic dance music?
Egghead cannot believe what you just said. It makes him pump the jam a little slower.
No worries. We'll figure it out. If coexisting fails, you can always muscle her out, right? If it's all okay with you, what do you think? Excellent! Good luck, my friend. Goodbye, officer.
This is why I didn't go into the tent. Typical did.
Indeed, she merely tried to omit the truth instead. To the cops.
What is it? I don't want to make anything work. Yes, anything. I don't want to make anything work.
It's not the anodic dance music that's made her bitter. It's the failure of Fortress Accident.
That's right. If we couldn't get our Welkins to happen, I don't want anything to happen. Ever again.
There's not a trace of irony in her voice. She means it. Easy. When her research is done, she can move out.
What? No, I don't really need any help with the project.
She thinks about it. A glassy look in her eyes. A gust of wind brings more...
All right. Bring me the game's off-site copy from my old workspace, if you really want to help. It's stored on a filament memory, and I'm unable to go and fetch it myself. It's a backup of my former employer's project, the radio game we were working on. It's stored on a filament memory, just like the one inside this radio computer. The backup itself is destroyed now, but I'm hoping to use what's left of it to pinpoint the exact location of the anomaly. You just have to go to my old workspace.
Hold on. If it's called an off-site copy, then why is it still on-site?
Oh God, not this again. It is...
Basement? Sounds like it's technically...
And no, taking it outside the building wouldn't have protected it from the data loss. There's nothing wrong with keeping the backup in the basement. What happened was a freak accident that has nothing to do with how the We clear?
This is clearly a painful topic for her. She must have had to explain herself numerous times.
Yeah, that's the one. You can get in through the bookshop. You just have to do some explaining to the bookstore lady. Good. Then you might know the giant ice bear fridge in the building's cellar. The filament is inside the fridge. Just go and get it. In the giant ice bear fridge. I just told you. It has red glowing eyes. It's impossible to miss. You just need to get the offside copy from the ice bear. Wait. A note from whom? Did it specify where they took the filament memory? Jawiza. Of course. Our project lead, Suliswov Jawiza. God, he was always so hell-bent on keeping the copy somewhere safe. And feature like it would have made a difference. The offside copy was perfectly safe when the data loss happened. That data loss was anomalous. And the heads... I won't even get into the heads. Millions of them.
Valley of 1,000 heads. You like the sound of that.
This is getting ridiculous. Can't you just defrost it? Or, I don't know.
There's a solution, but she doesn't want to hand it over to you yet. It's a thing. Something she holds dear.
The bookstore lady hates me. Says I'm part of the curse, whatever that means. Because she's from Martinez, and people from Martinez have never ever seen a radio computer. She thinks it emits elemental evil. No. She literally started praying for the higher powers when she first saw my rain city.
The lieutenant coughs like he's amused.
Once I came in one morning, only to find that my terminal was full of those strange trinkets and amulets. Wards. Thanks. And here's my Kvalsund multi-tool. You might need it to hack loose some ice. It opens everything. If you get me the offside copy, then you can keep the Kvalsund.
It hurts a bit for her to say this. She's not too happy to be parting with the Kvalsund.
Here we go. Nice and easy. No way out.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranged.
Who's there?
Is that the...
Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it. To what do I owe the pleasure?
That's sarcasm. He takes no pleasure from your appearance.
Oh no, it's all right. I'm just busy. What's this about? Ah, of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn waterlock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the 881. Oh good. We should really be getting back. Gary could use a hot shower underwater.
Did he say we can go...
Yes, Gary. We can go soon. If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long.
Sir.
I just have to do one more round. See if the Phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going.
A metal and plastic contraption bobs up and down amidst the trembling reeds. At first, it just looks like trash, but if you look closer...
That, over there, must be the boy Class you told us about. The one she hid her passport in.
Ooh, hidden things. Secret. Dome, you lift the boy out of the water without much effort. It's not tied to anything. The number 11 has been written on the yellow plastic. It hasn't been in the water for very long, but it's already discolored and slimy with silt.
Simple construction. Very unsafe.
There's something in there, splashing. It smells like you would expect it to smell. A concentrated version of the coast. The water this side of the peninsula is cleaner, actually. Smells a little. A shot glass's worth of seawater pours out. Some algae, and nothing else.
Well, damn. I have no idea. I wouldn't go so far as to say that. This is only a small loose end. But I do wish we knew who took the documents. In my experience, cryptids are generally uninterested in...
You could ask the miss what she thinks. Later, if you have the time. Though you doubt she'll tell you much at this point.
We still got here too late. There's nothing of use here anymore.
Put your hands where I can see them.